Hello, I am delighted to welcome you to a poetry celebration. It's exciting. My name is Kate Chadbourne, and I am co-creating this celebration with Grace and Susanna, who are the owners of Jumping Fox Design, which is a woman-run journal company based in California. I love their journals and reached out to them after I wrote a review of, I'll just show you this fantastic journal that I bought on Amazon and love very much and can't stop using. And we cooked up the idea that we would create a poetry celebration for National Poetry Month, because for many years now, every year, I write a poem every day during the month of April. And I thought it would be really fun if we created a community of poets to do that together. And that's where you come in. So who are you? Some of you are poets right away. You would stand up and put your hand in the air and say, I'm a poet. And I love that, and I salute you for it. Wonderful. Some of you may come a little bit reluctantly and say, oh no, Kate, I don't identify as a poet. But sometimes I write a poem. That is all right. You are so welcome. You are so welcome. And finally, some of you will say, I'm not a poet at all and I never write poems, but somehow I find myself intrigued. Well, you too, my friend, are so welcome to take part. So how can you participate? I am going to be writing, as I said, a poem every single day during the month of April, but I don't want you to feel that you need to do that. You can write as many poems or as few poems as you like. Some of you may decide to write a poem every week, or some of you may decide to go all in and write a poem every day. Whatever you choose is perfect. Here's the wonderful thing. There are prizes, and the prizes, 2 winners will receive this kind of Jumping Fox Design journal, this beautiful journal with the most luxurious paper that I'll just show you because I was just writing in it. I have the Dot journal. I was just writing about getting ready for making this video. One thing that excites me a lot about this journal is that I write with a fountain pen and heavy ink, and it doesn't bleed through. So it's really a lovely thing. It's got everything. It has these lovely bookmarks. There's 2 cloth bookmarks, or 2 ribbon bookmarks rather. It has a pocket in the back. It has detachable sheets in the back. You can see I was testing my inks here before I dove in. It has a lovely thing that I love, with a lot of bullet journals have, but this is really so elegant, is their table of contents. So you can kind of keep track of what you were working on. Anyway, I so love this. You know I love tools that help us do what we love to do best, and one thing I love to do is write. And I know that's true for many of you. So 2 lucky winners will receive a journal from Jumping Fox Design. So I'm so excited about that. Now, how can you receive a journal? How can you win? I will not judge poems. I'm not interested in being a judge of poems because I know I'm going to love all the poems. But I decided what we would do is every time I will invite you to send me poems once a week. Now you can send me 1 poem, you can send me 7 poems. Once a week, and you will receive 1 entry every time you send me some poems. So you can receive up to 4 entries from just writing poems. So that means I'm going to put your name in the hat, and instead of putting it in 1 time, I'll put it in 4 times. So you'll have 4 times as many chances to win. There will also be some other ways that you can win, and I'll be letting you know about those as the contest moves on. What kind of poems, you might be saying? What constitutes a poem? That, my dear friend, is totally up to you. You can write me a haiku, and that's a poem. You can, and I shouldn't say you can write me, you're writing it for yourself, please understand. But you can write any kind of poem you want. This is your celebration. I hope you feel that. You know, It took me a long time to claim the title of poet. I wrote poems my whole life. Poetry has been one of the most joyful, beautiful parts of my whole life. It's mattered so much to me, but I didn't call myself a poet until I was in my 30s. So I tell all the young poets now, claim the title soon. Claim it as soon as you've written a poem, right? If you're participating in this contest, in this celebration, because it's really not a contest, but it's a celebration, you are a poet. So you can write any kind of poem that you want. So I'll put out a call, and I'll put notes every week about how to do this, but I'll ask you to send your poems to me by Sundays at 5 p.m. That will allow me, you'll be getting a video from me every Wednesday, starting on the 1st of April, and going to, I think it's the 29th of April is the last day of, the last Wednesday, and the 30th is the last day of writing poems, but we'll have a video every Wednesday. So you'll send those poems to me at kate@katechadbourne.com. And don't worry, you don't have to remember any of this. I'll put some notes. Every week, I'm going to make for you just a little short video, and I will be featuring a couple of poems that I receive from you through the week. I will also choose the best of my poems, or the one that I like the best, from the week. And I should say, I'm setting myself a challenge. Not only will I write 30 poems, but I'm also going to use the words jumping and fox as jumping off places for my poems. So my poems will all have something to do with jumping or fox. And why is that? You know, Robert Frost said that writing without form is like playing tennis without a net. I'm going to play tennis without possibly the net of form, but I like this little bit of challenge. It tickles my brain. Do not feel you need to do this kind of thing at all. But maybe, you know, a few years ago, I wrote 30 poems on the subject of magic, and it was the most fun. I love that. I've done another one on animals, 30 days of animals. So much fun. Just an idea. So every week you'll hear some of your own poems, you know, some of all of this poetry community's poems. You'll hear one from me. I also thought it would be fun to introduce you to what I'm calling a poetry guide. We have some wonderful poets alive in the world today. You know, two of my best friends in the world are John Keats and Emily Dickinson. But I was so tempted, I thought, oh gosh, we could have them, and we could have Wordsworth, and oh, there's so many. But I decided, you know what, let's have poets that we can read them and support them even, and learn from them today. So I thought I would bring in one poetry guide a week. That would be fun. I'm also going to be sharing with you some journal tips, how I use the Jumping Fox journal to support this project. And I will also share with you a spark every week, what I call a poetry spark. So you are very welcome to take these on or disregard them, whatever you like. But I just think it's sometimes helpful to have a little bit of a poetry assignment or an idea, a spark to get you going. And then, because I like to be very much a fairy godmother, there will be some fairy godmothery gifts along the way, because that is fun. So let me just show you, this is when you receive a Jumping Fox design journal. This is how it comes in, I think, a rather lovely box with the beautiful logo showing through. You slide the box open somehow. Here it comes. And look at how gorgeous this is. I'll take off the other box. So this is the journal I'm going to be using, and I want to say thank you to Grace and Susanna who sent this to me, because I love it so much. It's called the Gray Tweed. I don't know if you can tell, but it's got a really beautiful fabric, sort of a linen fabric cover. It just feels so good in the hand. I'm planning to use this in 3 sections. I'll talk more about that, but I want to have a section for the drafts that I'm writing every day. Each, day I'll be writing drafts. I want to have a section for notes because the challenge that I've set myself, it will be really helpful to use a section of this just to write down some notes and ideas about language, which really helps me, and images and possibly even mythology, whatever, I take it all, whatever comes up. And then finally, I'm going to have a section in here where I copy over my drafts and perfect them. So my hope in like sparking us here is we're all sort of ripe for the romance of writing by hand, I think, and a little bit of time, of the calm, beautiful time of just having a book in our lap to write in. Of course, you can write your poems on your laptop or tablet or whatever you prefer. For myself, I'm a fountain pen girl, and I'm an ink girl, and I'm a paper girl, and I just love that. So I'm inviting you into that if it feels right. So finally, I just want to say, I want this to be really fun and easy. It is, just to say, years ago, I've been writing these poems for many years, and it used to be this was my method. I would write my draft in a notebook. I would take the draft to the computer and carefully revise it. I would print that out, and I would put it in a binder, in a sleeve, in a binder, and that was the day. And you know what? That's pretty burdensome. Some days that works, but some days it's just a lot. And so here's my method. And I started using this 2 years ago, and it means that I definitely write 30 poems. I write messy drafts, and that's all I have to do for the day to count it as a poem. It doesn't have to be more than that. It can be chicken scratch. Nothing gorgeous, nothing perfected. Later, I will revise the drafts, and I'll put them into some kind of form. If I feel like it, I will, but really just letting myself make it as easy and fun as possible. Like I said, you decide what's a poem. You decide what's up to your standards, right? Let's have some fun. Let's write. Let's be poets. Honestly, what better thing could there be to be on planet Earth than a poet? So I'm so excited to welcome you, to read your poems, and to be in a poetry community with you. This is delicious. I will be in touch. You will hear from me on Wednesday, April 1st with a new video, our very first official video, and we're going to have a great time. So thank you so much for being here today, and I can't wait.